I, James, founded and work for HPI, but do not represent them or any of their opinions.
Welcome to Season 8, Episode 317 of the Furlo Bros Tech Podcast. Every week, we definitively answer one question about the future of tech. To do that, we take into account many factors, including the companies involved, the people working for them, their marketing campaign, and of course, the technology they're developing. I'm Matthew Dean Furlo, and floating aimlessly through the lost week of pop culture is my brother, James Furlo.
Yeah, it is just kind of a dead week, huh? It's not Thanksgiving. It's not Christmas Eve.
It's the lull. It's the
lull.
The eye of the holiday storm, as it were. The big movies still have a couple of weeks to come. The holidays are still on the horizon. There's still time to buy your presents and get them delivered by Amazon. Everything.
I finally hung up my lights today, so that's good.
Nice. I
also installed one of my 3 new blinds. It's the smart blind.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Which is super interesting. Again, one of the joys of being on the forefront of automation is that it, for whatever reason, the pressure that it put on the blind itself, it's a roller blind, with like the little chain thing, squeaked super bad. Like just like I'm like, oh, I can't even sit in this room.
That is unpalatable.
Like, this is not good. And Jesse was like, what is that? Like, it's our new blinds. Like, they're smart. You can hear them working. and she's just like, whoa. Thankfully, a little silicone spray and a couple spots solved the problem. But, I was getting really nervous really quick. Because in order to put on the smart module, I had to tear off the part that came with it. And I was like, there's no going back at this point. So
we've crossed the bridge.
Yeah. But it's good. It's kind of fun. It's I got smart blinds now. Or at least awesome. I got one set. I'll install the others 2 tomorrow.
How much does that run you? How rich do you gotta be?
Oh, you gotta be pretty rich. What is it? So it's the Soma Smart Blinds.
Yeah.
Is the name of it. So it's SOMA blinds, I guess. So what happens is you buy roller blinds, and that costs you whatever it's going to cost you, right? Okay. So if you already got them in your house, it's like already frizzle. If you don't, like we did, I think I got them on Home Depot. I bought, let me think about this, 3 of them, and I think they were like a little over $100 each for the blinds themselves, which is like, that's, unless you get the garbage vinyl, like, the $8 blinds.
I like those.
Yeah. My biggest problem is that my windows are 70 inches long. Oh. And so that kind of gets me. But anyways, the actual module itself, they're like $100 each.
Oh man. So you
could do quick math there. Plus the $100 little Connect thing that lets me use Hey Siri.
Oh, geez. There she goes. I want that really bad. I mean, and it's ridiculous that I would want it. I mean, it is. But
I anticipate awesomeness.
So, okay.
I know, right? So part of what I'm going to do is when it's sunrise and sunset, I'll have them automatically do their thing, which would be cool. I'm going to be a smart home.
I gotta think about it. Because I might be into this. I got to get into it. But, James, it's not what we're here to talk about. I mean,
it's a little bit.
I was going to say, sort of. Because thing is, what are you going to control that with, James? You can control that with Hey Siri.
Yep.
You can control that with Google. No, not you. Stop it. You can control it with Alexa. You can control it with your Google Home, presumably.
No, not yet.
Oh, dang it.
It's just Siri and Alexa at this point.
This is hilarious. All of the devices around the house are yelling at me.
Nice. I finally got a little Google Home Mini. Took advantage of their Black Friday special. Same with I got what do they call it? An Echo Dot. Got one of
I
those.
should have got one of those minis. I don't know why I didn't. I know why
I got it just so I can experiment, see which one, which music service is better, which one's smarter. Google's app, by the way, for iOS, it's horrific.
Really?
It's stupid slow. Like a joke slow. Yeah, I don't get it. Like, I feel like you could tell what they did. They did a web wrapper thingy, but it's unbelievably slow.
Well, it's interesting.
I don't know what's up with that.
That you would bring up cross-platform performance, because that's really what this is all about. So, so there's been this sort of ongoing drama in the tech industry between 3 of the 4 or 5 horsemen. Are there 4 or 5?
I don't know. We'll let Microsoft in 5.
Okay. Yeah. I always feel bad excluding them. So between Alexa, Google, and Apple, they the 3 with voice control assistants.
Notably not Cortana.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody will play fine with Cortana. Nobody cares. But they so the deal was that Amazon has a couple of apps. They have their Amazon Store app, they have their Amazon Prime Video, they've got their Amazon Music, whatever. And they have been for years making it difficult to get those on the different platforms. And as it's been difficult something on some platforms, other companies have responded by making other things difficult. So for example, part of this whole drama was Apple wouldn't allow Amazon Prime Video on to the Apple TV. And for a long time, there were business agreements that and specifically, we want our Prime Video player to be on the device. This is Jeff Bezos talking about the Apple TV. And we want it to be on the device with acceptable business terms. So basically, we don't want to pay Apple. Well, so part of this is like why you can't buy Kindle books on. I think it's the ability to buy stuff through Amazon without paying 30% to Apple. And so he wants it on acceptable business terms. And if you can't, then we won't. Then we don't want to sell it to our customers, because they're going to be buying it thinking they can watch Prime Video, and they're going to be disappointed, and they're going to return it. So the idea, I know, I love this.
So he's saying people are going to buy an Apple TV so they can watch Prime Video, and then when they find out they can't, they're going to return their Apple TV.
Right, and so they don't want to sell it because they don't want to disappoint their customers.
That's some hubris right there.
I'm going to say there's a thin veneer of truth that I think is really important to grasp on there too, which there's some validity. If I bought it on Amazon and I was a layman, I do not consider myself a layman in these sorts of realms. Yeah,
you're a maven.
Exactly. I've reached the ability to know all sorts of pointless facts about what consumer tech companies are selling each other. But like, it wouldn't surprise me. But I could see, if you've got.
Wouldn't surprise me.
If you got Amazon Prime and you buy a device, a TV, you might get it thinking, I can watch my Amazon Video. And it would be kind of upsetting. Amazon Video, you could play it on your iPhone and then AirPlay it to your Apple TV if you wanted to, which I've done from time to time. But yeah, Amazon wouldn't allow it directly, or Apple wouldn't allow it directly onto the Apple TV, and in response, Amazon wouldn't sell it in their store. And the view was that it wasn't really customer focused; it was a spat between the two companies over business terms, how much money each company is. So this is extended to the other big one with Google. Their feud has been sort of growing over the last couple of years. Google wouldn't allow Chromecast to be bought through the Amazon store. Pretty much anything that competed with like the Amazon the Fire TV wasn't being sold. And
got it.
So like Chromecast and Amazon Amazon could.
That was Google not allowing Amazon to sell it, or Amazon not allowing Google to sell it?
Amazon wouldn't allow Google to sell it through the Amazon store. And then, which, sort of, I mean, there's a certain level of, you can't force a store to sell a competitor's product. That seems somewhat logical there. Amazon wouldn't build the cast function into their video player app, so you couldn't cast Amazon stuff onto the Chromecast. So they didn't work together at all. And again,
Awesome.
the logic being, well, we're not going to sell it if it doesn't work. And with our, if our video product doesn't work with your dongle, we're not going to sell your dongle. And Google's like, dude, it's up to you. You build the functionality. So they've been kind of upset.
That's kind of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Technically different divisions, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. So the so Amazon came out with the Echo Show, which is their high-end Echo. It's got a big screen on it, and one of the things that they were shown people using on it was the YouTube app.
YouTubes.
So pretty quickly after it was bought, it turns out this is from Sarah Perez of TechCrunch. As you recall, Google wasn't too happy with the way Amazon had initially implemented YouTube on the Echo Show. It looked different and was lacking a lot of features YouTube users expected. That led Google pulling access to YouTube for Echo Show device owners early this fall.
Amazon built their own app for it.
Right.
Essentially doing the embedded player version.
Right.
And didn't do a great job at it, or maybe they did, but not what Google wanted.
All it would do is play videos, but like it wouldn't do autoplay, it wouldn't do subscribe, it wouldn't all the different rest of the YouTube community stuff. So Amazon came back by redesigning their apps so that it was basically an embedded website that had all the features.
Okay.
From a human interface design, I've been told it's pretty awful, but it worked. And then so this last week, Google announced YouTube is being pulled from the Echo Show effective immediately, and Fire TV owners will lose out on the popular Essential Video streaming app on January 1st. So this has now gone beyond a user interface problem. Google says it's taking the extreme step because of Amazon's recent delisting of new Nest products like the Nest Secure and the e-thermostat, and the company's long-running refusal to sell Chromecast and support Google Cast in any capacity. So Google's finally upset. Like, okay, if you're going to take your toys and play, we'll take our toys and play. Fine.
Wow. Game on.
Exactly. Amazon isn't with.
I think totally justified. This is an interesting form of negotiation.
Yeah, I like it. Let me. And the Prime Video still doesn't support Chromecast. The companies are being mocked by industry groups in favor of dismantling net neutrality. So this is a callback to last week, where U.S. Telecom wasted little time in piling on. Broadband ISPs are committed to providing an open internet for their customers, including protections like no contact blocking or throttling, CEO Jonathan Spalter said. Seems like some of the biggest internet companies can't say the same. Ironic, isn't it? This stubborn conflict is turning into fodder for FCC Chairman Ajit Pai's supporters. So, yeah, it's kind of I didn't see that coming necessarily from the offset on this. One of the arguments is that Amazon and Google are punishing their customers with and just without apologizing at all, but it's all over negotiations about business and
dude, whatever. I mean, this is a short-term problem. Remember when Apple and Google went through their whole spat as well because Android was competing and Google started blocking access and pulling stuff. I mean, they did that same thing to Apple. Yeah. And I don't know. It solved itself, and I think we're all better off for it in the long run.
I honestly, because I think the YouTube app got better when Google took complete control over it, and I think Apple Maps has developed into a legitimate alternative to Google.
Yeah,
Maps.
And it's pushed Google Maps to be better as well.
Yeah. I don't hate it. I think it's an interesting wrinkle in the whole net neutrality argument.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think the ISPs are different than the providers. I think that the providers should and be allowed to follow different rules. But it is sort of interesting in the idea that YouTube, the reason why it's such an effective negotiating maneuver is because YouTube, by and large, is like the place to go for non-produced content. If there's content, you're not going to go to Amazon Prime Video to check out like cooking recipes. You're going to go to YouTube. And so that's why it's such an effective club to beat them with. It'll be interesting to see what Google really wants. Like, how much is Amazon going to have to yield before YouTube will turn, or Google will turn YouTube back on for Google. I also wonder how high up this spat goes. Like, is this the CEOs getting mad at each other, or are these like upper middle management guys that are going toe to toe in Bezos and what's his name? What's his name? Google CEO.
Sundar.
Yeah, Sundar are just like, nah, I got nothing. I'm not involved. I'm not paying attention. I wonder.
Oh, they're paying attention at this point.
I think so,
for sure.
Too. Well, yeah. And this all sort of twists and turns because literally 2 days ago, 2 evenings ago, Apple greenlit Amazon Prime Video for Apple TV. So now Amazon Prime Video is on Apple TV. You can't buy an Apple TV on Amazon yet, but that's sort of that's the tit for tat that everybody expected, is that doing one will allow the other.
This HP's had a similar thing, which I'm going to tell you about right after you tell us about our sponsor.
So this week's episode is brought to you by lightsabers, the laser swords of a time and place far, far away, long, long ago. Those are going to be really useful to you in the coming weeks as the legends of that galaxy are going to be coming to your cinemaplexes everywhere. Go and check it out. Go get a lightsaber and slice some droids with it.
Sounds like fun. I still haven't figured out a time to go watch it, which is incredibly sad. But it's hard when you can't get a babysitter, and you just start to give up. It's pretty sad. So what's interesting is that HP has actually had a very similar deal with Amazon as well. You just don't know about it as much. So it was an interesting thing where we sell cartridges, obviously, and Amazon was having a bunch of third-party refilled and remanned cartridges on their site in addition to ours, and HP was like, "No, we don't want you selling those third-party cartridges. We want you to remove them." And it was not nearly as popular type of thing, but HP went back and forth with pulling advertising and pulling a bunch of information and pulling a bunch of products off of Amazon until they resolved the cartridge issue. And it was an interesting back and forth, which, I mean, it was one of those where it was like there was some argument happening with just like one group on HP that was having this effect on everybody else. Like, it's affecting the PC division, even though they don't have anything to do with it. They don't care. They're just suddenly being told, no, you can't sell PCs on Amazon right now. And but we sell on it there.
It's like the largest retailer on planet Earth. Do you want us to not sell through Walmart either? Do you want us to sell any?
Well, and it's actually interesting. Like, we have a deal with Staples where they don't do the whole refill remand thing. Right. So that's our business partner. And I don't think we had that deal with Walmart, but I don't know. But yeah, so they went through it. Ultimately, it got resolved somehow, and I don't totally remember how, but I'm pretty sure we sell cartridges, which means maybe the other ones don't. Haven't looked. It's not my group. But Amazon does this stuff, and this was HP coming to Amazon saying, "Hey, we're gonna start, negotiating with you to get what we want." And because like one of the things we would do is we would help with like online advertising for people to go to Amazon and stuff. Like, that was one of those reciprocal things that you don't even, just kind of happens.
So I maybe you've already answered this question, but I guess the big question to me is this right now? It seems that users are suffering as a result of this, and they're
suffering so hard.
I know, this is the worst. Still, alert the Syrians. But did you? Is this ultimately a good thing? Is this an activity that we as consumers should cheer for, or is this something that's just really annoying? Is these big companies?
Look, on one hand, you'd love for everyone to play nice and for it all to be simpatico, and
I would.
This is one of the joys of like Wi-Fi. It just kind of works everywhere.
Yeah,
we don't have different standards, And I get that draw. On the other hand, man, this kind of stuff's good. I think in the long run, it will be okay. And because Google wants YouTube everywhere in the same way that Netflix wants their app everywhere. And so it's not like this is all going to happen and they're going to go, oh, we're never going to talk again. No, like they're continuing to talk because Google wants it on there. Amazon wants it on there. They'll come up with an agreement. There'll be lawyers involved. There'll be money that transfers somewhere. Google might take over the development of it. I don't know. But, it's going to work out. We just don't totally know how at this point. I mean, clearly, like Amazon and Apple figured out their whole thing.
Yeah, I think it's ridiculous how long it took, but...
Well, that's true. And part of that is just Apple doesn't really do software development type stuff like that.
Wow. Shots fired.
Well, that's their weak spot. We know that. You think about all the bugs that have been coming out in all their devices lately. They've had so many of these last minute bugs that are a big deal. Like that's what they've been focusing on, not building this out this app. And so, that kind of stuff happens. But no, I think it'll get resolved eventually. And, at the end of the day, dude, it's YouTube, whatever. Just watch it on your phone. Like
you can literally watch it anywhere else. So I guess, what do you think they're holding out for? I mean, what's is it just they want to get? I mean, I guess this is the question. Okay, then
I think Google genuinely cares about the user experience. I think like that's a real thing. I don't think that's just being blustery.
Yeah,
it probably is for some people, but for for the engineers and stuff, that's a real reason. I also think they're a little upset about some of the doublespeak. Them saying things like, "Well, you don't have the the Amazon player on Chromecast, so we're not going to sell it." And then Google's like, "Dude, that's an app that you would make." Like, I think that kind of upsets them and gets them to really dig in their heels of like, "No, we want this player to look right."
Well, I hear you, but they specifically says it's taking the extreme step because Nest products, the latest Nest products, they won't sell the new Nest products.
Amazon's calling their bluff.
And they won't.
Going, really? All right.
So do you think?
Because they know that Google's own store is pathetic, and I mean they only really sell it through Home Depots. They're probably their most successful channel.
Yeah.
Wow, that and Amazon.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I wonder. I guess I just wonder if this ends with an agreement to sell Chromecasts and to support Google Cast, or does this end with with an app that a YouTube app that Google controls that plays on the Chrome or
I think all of the above.
Yeah, you think
I don't know
at this point.
I don't know what the order is, but yeah, I think it'll all shake out where Google's going to get Amazon on the Chromecast, and they're going to be able to sell their Chromecasts on Amazon. And in the meantime, they're going to develop an app themselves and manage it themselves.
All right. That's not my bet. I think it's going to be, I think overall it'll be better for users in the long term, but I bet Prime Video.
Oh, this could take 2 years to happen.
I'll bet Prime Video does get Google Chrome, or does get a Google Cast support, but I'll bet the Chromecast goes on for a long time for YouTube to come back. I think for YouTube to come back, you're going to have to get you get the Nest products back in the store, and you'll probably get Google Cast support, or they'll sell the Chromecast, but they won't do both. And okay. I think that they're going to leave stuff on the table to negotiate with, but they'll twist Google's arm. They'll come to an agreement to bring YouTube back, and then there'll still be stuff that Google is not happy about, but they'll get enough to. Whereas Apple and Amazon seem to have finally worked out their junk.
And Apple does stuff all the time where they'll pull products from their store just because.
Yeah, because you sued them, Bose. That's why.
Yeah,
I know that's not what they said, but you and I both know that's what they did.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I know that HP had to deal with that with their printers for a while, where Apple wasn't going to endorse our printers because we didn't have AirPrint
Oh yeah, that's right.
built in. And HP was like, well, we don't need it because we have our own self-authenticating system. And Apple was like, okay.
Okay. You need it now? That's funny.
HP now has AirPrint on everything, which it was one of those, like, we were working on it. And when the iPhone first launched, there wasn't a system like AirPrint. And so we built our own, which totally makes sense. And then you download the HP app and you can print right from that, and problem solved. And then they came out with AirPrint, and Apple was kind of like, well, we're all switching. We're all like, you got to switch now. HP was like, well, we don't need to. We got our own thing. And it became a proprietary war, right? Is everyone going to use HP's thing, or are they going to use Apple's thing?
Well, you know what
we know which route that went.
You know what the truth is? Nobody uses any printing.
Oh, that's not
it's funny. Actually just today I was talking to my boss, and I have to go into a fab before I go to our office tomorrow. And he was like, "Hey, can you print this thing out really quickly before you go into the fab?" And I was like, "What am I supposed to print it out on?" And he's like, "You don't have a printer?" And I was like, no. Why would I have a printer? What for? What would I use it for? And I felt this like weird. I don't even know how to express this to you, Bob.
You would use it to print that thing off for him real quickly.
Yeah,
that's what you would use a printer for.
Yeah,
I printed off 6 pages today. I did my due diligence.
I'm gonna lug around a printer from home to home so I can print once every 3 years. That's I was like, just eat.
It's like one of some of those kitchen devices you got, just every once in a while you need that one device, so you keep it with you. You got tools like that too. Don't give me that look. You got tools like that. It.
Okay, there are electronics tools that I hold on to for
single purpose devices. They're around,
but they tend to be small.
That's true. HP's got some small, cute little printers now. Because we know. Yeah. So, Google, Amazon, troublemakers.
So, listener question.
I don't own either product, so.
I know, right? I got the Apple TV. I was excited. I downloaded the Amazon.
Yeah, is it good? I heard the interface was not fantastic.
It's, no, but it's fine.
Okay, all right.
If you know what you want to watch, it's really easy. You just say,
I want to watch this.
I want to watch Manchester by the Sea because I don't like being happy anymore. The movie's got a really bad rating on Amazon, which is surprising for an Academy Award winner.
Weird.
So listener question, I think what I want to know from our listeners is, how does this affect what devices you buy? Do you go out and
do you care if YouTube is on it? Is that like part of your criteria, or Amazon Video for that matter?
Yeah, exactly. Which one of these are deal breakers? Are any of these deal breakers, or do you just sort of go, or does this actually affect anybody, or is it just two Goliaths fighting each other for their own fun?
Good question. I want to know the answer to that.
Actually, me
there
too.
You go. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We really do appreciate it. You can check out all the links to this show on furlobros.com/317. That's 317. You can also subscribe to us on iTunes and Google Play. We want to say thanks to Chris Welch of The Verge, Sarah Perez of TechCrunch, and Thomas Rickers, also from The Verge. Thanks to those three for covering it with mighty accuracy. And we also want to let you know that we are sponsored by listeners just like you, and sponsored by lightsabers. Go cut something. So with that, I am James Furlo, and my lol of a brother is Matthew Furlo. And so we will talk next time.